back when I was in college, still struggling to stay in before Dad fucking dropped his bombshell and shit. Fucking, I remember I was sitting there at the student union, just sitting by myself, smoking a cigarette, thinking all kinds of crazy thoughts in my head. And this guy walks up to me and my friends there out of the blue. And my first thought is, we're not buying it. And he's like, would you like to? We're not doing it. It's in the back of my head. Be on TV. That's when my ego took over. Sure. So that's how I got fucking introduced to the one guy I did TV shows with for off and on throughout the years. And it was all like low budget shit. Some of it got airtime, others didn't. The major one was Fright Night Friday with the Spooky Spectre. And this is on Cal UTV, and I was Kamikaze Biker Jim. We drive our bikes 150, 200 miles an hour into a brick wall without a helmet. We're criminally insane. We're the kamikazes. That's how I was introed. And like we ended up being like henchmen for the Spooky Spectre, but we would always fuck shit up for him. We were the comic relief.
Okay. Anybody listening out there, if you can find me a copy of any of those tapes, I will give you a fucking rim job.
I do not wish to have a rim job because I can get my hands on copies of those tapes.
Okay, if you give me a copy of those tapes and upload them to YouTube, you will be a hero.
I will try to, but like I said, like the fucking shit I did, that was fucking insanity, and it was fun. It was like all low budget. There was this one scene where the castle's blowing up all around us, and like fucking the special effects where they were hurling flash paper and sparklers at us while we're running down a staircase and they're shaking the camera and adding other effects.
Oh, come on. You know you want that uploaded.
Yes, I do. That was fucking awesome. And like, I remember after the castle blew up with the Spooky Spectre in it, it was our boss who hired us to do a mission, which we fucked up. We're all standing there looking in shock and awe at the thing. And my sidekick at the time was, facing the opposite way because he was playing the pure idiot. And I was the leader of the gang. And I was sitting there as the camera's panning shot, doing my stare, like of just bewilderment. I'm thinking, my character will not comprehend what the fuck happened here. So whenever the camera finally pans to me, the words that came out of my mouth were, does this mean we don't get paid? Our boss just blew up in a fiery wreck. We botched the job, and that's what I'm thinking. Fucking cameraman lost it because, this is fucking college TV. No one's getting paid. Everyone fucking lost it.
Scary Harry, eh?
Mm-hmm. That's the guy. Go watch his shit. He's got an overexposed show going on.
Yes, I looked it up while you were talking, as you knew I would.
Yeah.
Scary Harry.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. If anyone could find any of these videos, we need them uploaded.
It's beautiful.
Oh, he's got a Tumblr.
Mm-hmm. And Facebook and all kinds of shit. He's trying to get people to follow him on his new ventures. And he's now getting airplay at one of the local cable stations that I don't get in my area, but it's the main cable station in his area.
Was he nice? Was he a cool guy or was he a dick or what?
Oh, he's always been fucking cool. I mean, just hang out with, talk with, and fucking, all this shit. And we have like this history that we always fucking talk about. And we're joking about it. He might get me involved again. And I told him, I feel the need to die again. Because I've died so many times on the shows I've been on. I was thrown out of a fucking 100-story window in one edit. And that was fucking great. fucking got devoured by monsters. I was the only one actually captured by a monster on camera. Everyone else got captured off camera. That was nice. I died again whenever an incantation failed. I fucking... It's like the many deaths of Jim.
I couldn't find any of your videos, though.
Yeah.
I actually looked it up. I couldn't find any, but he exists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've always had this more of a voice acting dream than anything else, but I've always had a dream of somehow working in television or radio. I can't really act. I mean, I'm not a physical actor, because obviously I just hear it. I've never been a physical actor. In drama class, I always did, improv scenes where I would talk, but so weirdly enough, my characters would never move. But it would be total voiceover So I've always had an interest in somehow breaking into. I mean, I don't care about getting famous, but it's just something I've always wanted to do. Because I went listening to, home movies and Duckman and shows like that, from fucking age of like 11, Futurama. So I've always had and now watching British sitcoms, and I have scripts for a fictional, I call it KPTR, PTR, of course, being the old initials for the old shit. I call it, I have about 10 scripts written for like a 28-minute show, a fictionalized show. You're the scary news guy. No, I'm sorry. You're the scary talk show guy. Scott's the insane news guy. And I'm the like the really temperamental host that screams at people live on air, not knowing we're on air. So I've always had this weird dream. I know you're more scripted. I'm more improvised, but I can work with scripted. But it's cool that you got to work on some sort of TV.
Yeah.
I mean,
like I said, I might get involved again, though I don't know. It's going to work my current look into it. I mean, last time he did a project, I was still the biker, but I was like older, wiser, but still born to lose, and I would lose.
but yeah, try to find those some of those tapes you can upload. We can all sit and get high and laugh at.
Yeah.
I'm just glad no one can find the clips of. For some odd reason, the local news thought it would be a great idea to film at graduation. I went to this place called the Blind Children's Center, or was it Francis Blind? Anyway, it was some fucking blind place, all blind school. And I guess for some human interest, every day, because we would do, how like when you're a little kid, every year's graduation, even though you don't actually move schools, you graduate to like the second grade or some condescending shit.
Mm-hmm.
And they would send out news cameras to film us singing our dumbass little songs and film 30 seconds of these kids are graduating and their ceremony and they're blind. And if you find clips of those on YouTube from like 98 or so, I will actually murder you.
Now, the first filmed footage of me acting was actually back in 5th grade. We did an Easter play. I played Papa Bunny. I had like 3 lines, and then I was off stage, and like someone home videoed it. And then, no one really cared about me because I wasn't one of the popular kids. Of course, one of my other photogenic moments was whenever I was a senior in high school. We had this thing called Senior Review. And everyone put together these skits and would, sing to pop songs or whatever. And yes, it's pathetic because my buddy did a cover of In Bloom by Nirvana. But because it was the only thing with distorted guitar in it, I stood up in the middle of the fucking crowd and just started headbanging, and the camera zoomed back and caught me headbanging to this song, just because it was the only thing that played that was even remotely tolerable.
I know. There was a mediocre metal band. I mean, I I can't be hard on them because I know the guys and they're nice guys, but the music was just kind of meh. Like, had a little bit of metal influence, was really metal, and the lyrics were cartoony, childish horror. I mean, like, really, the band name was Corpse Candy. I mean, that kind of tells you, but charming. It was a charming band, but I loved them because they would come to my school. Like, I'll tell you, there was this band called Art in War. They were a fucking new metal corn. Like, if you can think of Pantera, but with more new metal in it. So like Soulfly almost. Okay? Putrid on any circumstance, right? But when they came to my high school, I was like moshing around. They were like, I thought you hated it. I was like, dude, this is the only fucking time I'm going to hear anything this good in any other situation, I would have hated that band. And I'll tell you, they came back with the drummer came back with his other band, Terminal 6, which was like, have you heard the band Tool?
Yeah.
If you think of like Tool or that kind of hard rock, like I said, any other time I wouldn't listen to it. Although Terminal, it was good. It was melodic hard rock. It never pretended to be metal, but I loved it because, like I said, I was listening to something with distorted guitars and screams with Art and War, not. But I was listening to something with semi-distorted guitars, somewhat metallic riffs at school. So you can bet I was just I loving it.
Now, see, back when I was still in high school, we had a bunch of local death metal shows that I'd go to. And there were a couple times where we went out to a different, this is all one volunteer fire department. There was another volunteer fire department on the other side of Greensburg. This is all in Greensburg where the death metal shows were. And they featured a lot of alternative bands, as did this other place called Illusions, which was in Latrobe on the top floor of this fucking near abandoned building. And I would go to the alternative shows because, my buddies were there on drugs, and I'd have a good time just because, I'm there. Even if the music sucked, I was still like, at least it was somewhat entertaining. And I was fucking high, so I didn't care. But this one show at the fucking fire hall, my one buddy from the one buddy I took out for fucking for his birthday, and we had the philosophical conversations and shit. We were at the concert, me, him, and Bob, at this one alternative show, and he was walking around with his little magician's thing that was supposed to be the invisible dog, but he wanted a pet potato, but he didn't feel like wasting a potato on it, so he'd walk around a can of potatoes. And while we were there, he ends up having a muffin was thrown from on stage, hit him in the head, and it landed in his hand. He's like, "Oh my God, the muffins are attacking!" Ah! And for like months after, it's like years after, even he would have little things drawn up because he was the guy that would draw like comics and shit. Even though it went nowhere, there was always the muffins will get you. The muffins will attack.
That's awesome. That is a good story. Yeah, I was always the one in like school plays. I was never allowed to do any sort of acting or any sort of solo. Well, I didn't have the voice for solo singing. I mean, I never have had a voice for any sort of clean singing, but I was never picked to do any sort of acting. I guess they figured I was a bad kid and I fucking hated everything. So I guess they figured I didn't deserve it, or I just wasn't good enough. But little did they know I had this weird. I've always kind of wanted to break into kind of TV or radio. I love radio dramas and things like that. So, but yeah, that's actually something nobody really knew until I didn't know until later. But yes, I know I was never picked for singing. I was always, part of the group, whenever we did like choral vocals or whatever, but, it was never, let's give this guy a solo spot. Because, yeah, that's a good, I'm semi-decent at harsh vocals. Not that I don't love harsh vocals, but I would love to do some sort of more melodic, like power metal. It's just that, what's the word? Oh, I can't. Because hearing me sing power metal is, I think, I think a girl I know quoted, "I will pay you never to do that again."